when I feel that there's levels of double standards or hypocrisy, and somebody wants to try to have me follow them and impose them on me, then yes, I'm going to question that.
Well, are you willing to be in a long-term relationship with someone like that?
I do want to see, is this person willing to grow with me, or are they stifling my growth? Because, as I said, I'm a free spirit, which means that I'm not going to conform to normal social rules.
Do you feel like you're going to lose who you are with me?
Sometimes I do.
Eve, I've done a nice amount of interviews this season with the couples, and it is kind of surprising that you're here by yourself without Mohammed. Why is that? What can you tell me?
We're kind of getting through this time frame and making sure that things work. So sometimes, you have to kind of move forward with, the things that you need to do. And so I'm here today just by myself. And so we'll just see, what the future holds.
Yeah. Have you been watching the season back?
I have. Yes, I have.
How do you feel?
I think, there's things that are said that I'm like, whoa, did you really think that? Or things that, oh, I didn't know that you felt that way. So it's a little challenging. Like, for example, one of the things was that, Eve knew what to expect.
If I did hide anything from you, let me know. Because I was very clear with you about everything.
Which I actually didn't. That was kind of a blanket statement.
What do you say to people who are thinking, how can you be in a committed relationship and not have these serious conversations about your cultural differences?
When he told me 2 weeks into us communicating and getting to know each other that I was not going to be judged for my culture or religion, I took that to heart. And, if he did want me to, if he was serious that he wanted me to potentially follow the Muslim faith, then he should have said that to me.
Yeah.
And knowing that I would not convert, that probably could have ended our relationship right then and there if that was conveyed to me, and that was never conveyed to me. We were in a global pandemic. We were hyper-focused on encouraging us to stay going and positive, and he would get sometimes sad and depressed because he didn't know when he was going to see me. So I would try to, help uplift him and things like that. And then I was struggling because Theron was out of school for 15 months. So we were kind of hyper-focused on being there, like psychologically and emotionally for each other. That those conversations that we were kind of focused on the love, maybe not necessarily the real interworkings of precise religious topics.
Right. It seems like there were, I guess, a lot of assumptions made and not necessarily the communication of what do you expect from me in this relationship, and here's what I expect from you. Because I think that's where the confusion kind of comes in. You're dating a Muslim man or marrying a Muslim man, and most people would say, y'all don't talk about, okay, what does our future look like? How are we gonna navigate these two spiritual ways of being?
I was very clear with him about how I am. Like, I'm a professional woman. Like, I do, of course, will, take on these roles as a wife, but I'm definitely not a housewife. So I was very clear about women like sometimes don't work there, but that's not my situation. So we did talk a lot about the future, about what he would do when he got here as far as like personal training, and he's a food engineer and the job opportunities here. So we were kind of focused on those things versus the real religious aspect. And I felt like he knew that I wouldn't convert. So those parameters wouldn't be placed on me. But then upon arrival, because I think the thing that's hard with, Egypt is that the religion dictates the laws. I think that there was like, he didn't realize like what a huge difference it would really be.
So I have a fan question here. Dion wants to know, why would you bring over a Muslim man, but then not respect his religion as his wife? So what do you say to fans who feel as if you don't respect his religion?
I think I've made it clear that I'm open to what he wants to follow, but I'm not Islamic. I'm not a Muslim woman. I don't follow that faith, and I'm not converted. And I don't. He knows that was not going to happen. So why is it on me that I have to change for him? I mean, he chose to pick somebody outside of his faith, outside of his religion. So, if you wanted somebody to act Muslim, then you should have picked a Muslim woman if you wanted to abide by Islam.
Looking back now, why do you think he picked you? Do you think it was genuine interest? Because like you said, if that's what he wanted, why didn't he go after that?
Right. We were actually in the same place. Like, I had written off marriage. He had a bad experience being previously engaged and basically didn't want to get married either, and actually told his mother that. And she was upset because that's not following kind of their culture. He likes to work out. He was following like fit body hashtag, and there popped up me. And then he thought, when he saw that picture and went to my profile, he was just like, thought I was like the most beautiful woman he's ever seen.
Yeah.
And so when we began talking, we didn't realize that, for him, I think he thought like, oh, cool, this is somebody I might be able to like practice my English with, because I like English. So, but then when we began talking, we just totally clicked. I mean, I literally had on my phone at that time this picture of this like Egyptian thing. And I had dreams about Egypt since I was like in 3rd grade. Yeah. And so I was supposed to go to Egypt, actually. I ended up going in September, like 3 months after we met. And I was actually like thinking about going on a trip in October with a friend of mine. And I ended up going earlier because I met him, and then I just left. And
so the synchronicities were like clicking.
Right. And that flight, like the price, the time frame, like one night I was looking and like the stars aligned, I'm like, I'm coming. And he was like, what? And it was our like first meeting was like 2 people that just hadn't seen each other in a long time, and it was such an amazing connection. And considering I went all the way across the world, didn't know the language, never been there before, like taking this huge risk and chance, and then it just felt so natural, like our connection felt so natural.
Yeah. I'm a pretty spiritual person too, so who knows, like maybe you all did know each other before.
I believe so. Like, we definitely feel like we've had past lives together. We feel like we have a twin flame connection, which he doesn't usually use that terminology, but I think so. And I think that we are the epitome of that: cultural difference, age difference, distance. And, this union is a very like amazing, like kind of bond, but also it's difficult. It's difficult because it's challenging your souls to basically like grow. So sometimes you mirror each other, or sometimes you push each other's buttons, and I'm like, all right, so I've always wanted that in my life. I've always wanted somebody who actually makes me continue to grow, because I love like continuing to evolve as
girl. It's easier said than done, because the growth is painful. The growth can be painful.
Oh yeah, no, it's not fun sometimes. It's just like,
yeah. If I'm to be honest, as a viewer, I haven't really seen the spark, or what it is that made you fall in love. What is it about Mohammed that made you fall for him?
For my first time in my life, felt that somebody had my back. He literally like saw straight through me, like into my soul. And literally from the tone of my voice, my expression on my face and video chat, like he knew exactly what was going on with me. And that was such an amazing, beautiful thing, because for him to just be able to tune into me, like to me was such a deep emotional connection. And he just conveyed to me, even though he wasn't physically here, that he had my back. And that was something that I was really searching for.
So you felt like he understood you emotionally, or he was able to read you emotionally in a way you've never experienced before?
Yes, most definitely. Well, just see through just see me deeply. Like he'd say to me, like on video chat, like I look into your eyes and I see this like innocence of like a child, like that he saw like my soul.
Well, speaking of that, do you think that when he came, that changed? Because if anything, it seemed as if he wasn't seeing you, or maybe he was seeing you but wasn't fully appreciating you for who you are.
Yes, agreed. I feel like there was a little bit of a shift, which was difficult for me because I was like, where was that man who always had my back kind of thing? Then it was surprising to me because we interacted every single day, like multiple times a day. And then all of a sudden, like, you're not approving of my life when you were pretty much viewing it from afar, knowing exactly what I was doing, where I was going, day in, day out. So that was really difficult.
What do you say to viewers who feel as if Mohammed is manipulative? Because there are a lot of people who think he is.
I would say kind of like those blanket statements sometimes aren't necessarily based in fact. So, that's can be a little frustrating to me in the sake of, saying something that's not necessarily, it's a generalization. I would prefer somebody to just be straightforward, whether you're mad, angry, sad, whatever it is, to just not try to say something that you don't mean, maybe passive aggressively. But just be very straightforward.
Yeah. I have another fan question. Jennifer wants to know, how do you feel about Mohammed picking and choosing what to follow and what not to follow about his religion?
I have a problem with that because when I feel that there's levels of double standards or hypocrisy, and somebody wants to try to have me follow them and impose them on me, then yes, I'm going to question that. When something seems like it's a double standard or has some aspect of like hypocrisy in it, no, that doesn't sit well with me. And I don't think it's fair because, just like the bikini thing, like, if you're upset about that, but you can post pictures of yourself. And apparently there is like rules for Muslim men that their pants have to be looser. So their pants are supposed to be above the ankle. So
is
yes,
that a red flag for you though? Because it's a reflection of his character in a sense. I mean, I don't know him as a human being, but it's sketchy.
Yes, it does kind of set off a red flag. Is that really, if you're using your religion to kind of execute something, or is that just controlling? Right. So that does bother me. And I believe in equality. And I think maybe that's something different here in the sense of like, if he came here and thought, oh, he's just going to, kind of impose like this male dominant energy or religion. I'm a very kind of confident, independent woman. So that's probably not going to work that well. So you either kind of like accept that and begin to acculturate and things like that, or yes, maybe it's not going to work. Like if you're just stuck in those ways and want to be stubborn and not want to grow and understand me as a person and a woman and who I am.
Yeah. Well, are you willing to be in a long-term relationship with someone like that?
I do want to see, is this person willing to grow with me, or are they stifling my growth? Because, I as I said, I'm a free spirit, which means that I'm not going to conform to normal social rules. I mean, obviously, like even our situation's not normal, and nor have I kind of lived my life, as a normal, like even, people look at me and think like, no, you're not a normal 48-year-old. And he didn't think I was this, he thought I was like much younger. He didn't realize I was older either, just when we initially met.
My perfect woman in my imagination is the woman will love me as my mother. So someone prepare everything for you to make your life easier.
Tell me this, how did you feel when Mohammed said, I want my partner to act like my mom?
And what he actually meant was, I want to be loved unconditionally as a parent would love.
He wanted you to cook him breakfast, honey, before you went to work.
I was dreaming that day I will be having breakfast in bed.
He wanted to be babied and taken care of. That's the gist that we as viewers got.
Right. And I think that that was definitely like a misconception and definitely taken in the wrong way because of just the language barrier and him not knowing how to convey that properly. And so definitely he does, you know, he can make his own food. And he, when his mom would go to his grandmother's, he was in charge of making his own food. So yes, of course I wish I could have like spent that morning with him, but I couldn't.